And there we go. So let's see, why don't we start with Brady? If you want to introduce yourself, we'll just kind of go around and have everybody do sort of 30, 45-second introductions, and then we'll get rocking here.
Yeah, sure. Sounds great. Nice to see everybody. I've been on a few of the calls in the past. Brady Lee, I'm the VP of Business Development at Great Blue Research. Michael, who's to my, I guess, right or left on the screen here, will be a little more of a more in-depth overview of Great Blue, so I won't go through that, what we do. But always looking to meet new people, expand my, my own network and sales, and however I can help other people, or just I always like to meet new people and ask a lot of questions when I do and learn about their backgrounds. So that's what I would like to get out of these types of meetings, as well as finding new ways to do business. And indulgence for COVID. Well, I'm going the entire month of April without drinking any beer, so that's not an indulgence anymore. But been enjoying working out a lot and playing guitar. So I don't know if they're indulgences, but I guess catching up on that stuff. So been enjoying being able to do that at night.
Got it. Cool. Well, that's like the anti-indulgence, but
yeah, I know. It's kind of an
but that's good. You're committing to something, which is wonderful.
I mean, there are 4 gallons of ice cream in the freezer right now.
Okay, shame. I'm going the opposite way. No exercise and lots of sugar. No.
Hey, this is just so you remember what it sounds like.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, and there's mine. So yeah, this is a meetup. So you're welcome to bring your own, as they say. So Linda, you're on screen. Why don't you go next if you want to do an introduction?
Sure. My name is Linda Holtman. Great to be here. As I said earlier, I used to live up in the Northeast. I'm currently living in Puerto Rico. And my firm, What's Next Ventures, we help companies with their growth trajectory from establishing a strong financial business model foundation to scale to international, expanding internationally. And I love networking. I love meeting new people and helping and connecting in any way that I can. And I guess a big indulgence for me, and really such a great thing, the good thing to come out of the crisis, is that I've managed to connect with people back north, which is, my big dream come true, would be to work with people up north and as well as overseas. So great to meet you all.
Very cool. Thank you so much. And Dana, do you want to go next?
Sure. My name is Dana Bucin. I am an attorney. I'm a partner with Mertha Kalina, a Connecticut-based law firm. I do immigration law, and these days that keeps me very entertained, and I'm sure it keeps you guys very entertained. I help people get status in the United States, but I also help folks immigrate to other countries if they want to, because of our affiliation with law firms in 100 countries worldwide. So primarily I provide legal services, immigration, also international business law services. I help foreign companies expand to the Connecticut market and to the US market in general. And I also help companies from the US expand overseas, primarily to Romania and that part of the world. And I'll tell you why, because I'm also the honorary consul of Romania to Connecticut. It's a diplomatic position that is very flexible in that it allows me to do both legal practice and diplomacy at the same time, and they interact very well together. So not only do I do legal services, I also do connection services, networking, so that companies here can get business partners in Eastern Europe and vice versa. And that's basically it. I'm part of a general law firm, so we do everything under the sun in terms of legal services, intellectual property, employment, etc. I just happen to be focusing on immigration law, and I look forward to learn more about you guys.
That's fantastic. Thanks, Dana. Let's see. And how about Jeff Ardis? I see that you're on, but I don't see you. There he is. You're silent. There you go.
Yep. So I'm going to refrain Bill's jokes last week about the COVID virus needing a haircut. I would rather post my glamour shot from the mall, but this is what you're getting today, unfortunately. So nice to see everyone. Dana's familiar. I met Dana at a Free Trade Zone event a few weeks ago in Middletown. So nice to see you again, Dana. And thanks for having me. I'm actually not too far from Hartford. My bunker is located in central Massachusetts. Bill, I came on a few minutes late. Did you say something about an indulgence, something we were doing or giving up during the crisis? Or?
Yes, primarily, what's a guilty pleasure maybe for the crisis, if there's something that you want to share?
I suppose mine would be playing tennis on a regular basis for the first time in like 20 years. Unfortunately, my 16-year-old son's spring high school tennis season has now been reduced to dad. So I have to up my game, but my new funky red Asics shoes just came in the mail yesterday. So tonight I think he might be in for it, because when you look good, you play better, right? So
excellent. The shoes will make the difference.
Exactly. I certainly hope so. So on the business side, I am the business development director for a specialist international digital marketing agency called IBT Online. We help exporters build brand and drive export sales in their overseas markets through website localization and international online marketing and e-commerce strategy, essentially. So I'm available as a resource for any companies you may be looking to help marketing in countries outside the United States. Lots of free resources on our websites, webinars, infographics, blogs, things like that I'm happy to share with the group too. So always interested in expanding my network, and hope I can be of help in some way in this time where more and more business is being forced online because trade shows are canceled, and we have to do customer engagement in a different way now. So.
Cool. Thank you so much, Jeff. How about Blair?
Hit the unmute button. There we go.
Brilliant.
Pleased to be here, everybody, and good to see everybody. I am actually based in Denver, Colorado, but I cover sort of the tri-state area, or at least I'm supposed to be spending more time in the tri-state area in 2020. Hasn't quite played out the way that I was envisioning, but that's okay. I work for a company called Velocity Global, and we are focused on international PEO services for companies that are looking to expand internationally. And thus, in the past, it's either been, okay, can we go in and set up an entity and manage resources that way internally? We have an international PEO solution, which is low risk, sort of, cost effective way of getting you up to, and getting you into new markets very, very quickly. So that's what we're focused on. Specifically, myself, I'm on the partnerships team, and myself and one other colleague of mine are focused on M&A. And so what that means for international PEO, sort of in an M&A context, in situations where there are divestitures or corporate carve-outs, and the buyer doesn't have existing corporate infrastructure. The example I like to use is, let's say a GE is carving out a division of their business, and the buyer is a private equity group in the US. That division of GE actually has, let's say 10 people in Mexico and 4 people in Puerto Rico. The only way
This is like a 30-second intro, just so you're clear if you're winding up.
No. I'm basically done there. And so we come in and we're able to transition those headcount. That's it. I'm done. I'm sorry. I missed the beginning. I was struggling.
Yeah. Sorry, I should have given you the clue. And any indulgence during this time that you're shut in at home?
Yeah. So my wife and I are trying to stay away from ice cream. It's not working out too far. But we have an ice cream place about a block away who's doing sort of curbside delivery, and it's trouble.
Yeah. Well, we all have to have our crosses to bear, I guess.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Bill. I'll keep it.
No. Thank you. Thanks, Blair. Appreciate it. Let's see. How about Kelly?
Hi, everybody. Kelly Kenny here. I'm with Meet, and we basically help international companies exhibit at trade shows in the U.S. So we build their strategy, help them execute at trade shows. I'm on the ops side of the house, so my world is 100% on the road, And finding strategic partners is a big part of what I do. So when I'm with the clients and we're hitting all these events, there's always something that comes up and they say, do you know who? And I usually call Bill, but outside of that, that's typically my role. I'm kind of, Brady, I'm with you on the indulgence side. I have a goal actually for April. I set it to April 1st, and I have a goal by the end of April to do one pull-up.
Yeah, we're 7 days away. Let's see if that happens.
That's my goal. I'm out there. I've like worked on it every day, and we'll see. So nice to meet y'all.
Good on you. Nice job.
So, Bill, can we have that pull-up be one of the virtual meetups?
Exactly. So on May 1st, we'll have a meetup, just like a 5-minute meetup, just to watch the pull-up. I like it. We'll do it. Yeah, and so she's doing reverse pull-ups now, which is interesting. So, and she hasn't even tested if she can do a pull-up yet. So she's the whole mystery is going to be revealed.
I don't want to peek.
Oh, goodness. Okay, cool. So just to give you guys a sense of where we're going, we're going to have 2 6-minute spotlights. That's going to be Michael and Mauricio. And they're just going to give us maybe a little more in-depth highlight of their work. Michael, his business is Great Blue Research, obviously a service provider. And then Mauricio, and some of you know Mauricio, he's Hub 55, more what we would consider a partner organization. They're consumers of, or at least connectors to the consumers of a lot of the work that we all do. And then we'll do just a little bit of an overview so you all have a sense of kind of what we're doing and why we're doing this. And then we'll open it up for needs and opportunities. We want you, this is kind of an open forum, and I'm sharing this now so that you're thinking of things to share, whether it's you might have, and I know Jeff mentioned some of the webinars they do, but there might be, certain opportunities that you have from a standpoint of content or other resources. There also may be needs that your clients have or that you have that you want to share so that those can get amplified. And then we have a couple of closing comments, and then we'll enroll you in Amway. No kidding, and move on from there. So let's go to Michael, and so Michael, feel free to take us down the road of a case study or whatever, something that would better help us understand your clients and the work you do. So the floor is yours, Michael.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for all the introductions, everyone. It's a pleasure to kind of see all of you and get to learn more about you. I've already started jotting down some notes and ideas of folks that ways in which we might be able to utilize you, but also some of our clients and partners. So Great Blue Research has been around for many, many years, since the 1970s. In its first iteration, I went to work for the founder of that company in 1998, later split the company up with him and bought him out. So I've owned the firm since 2009. And our primary focus is really helping businesses do what they do better. And that is usually solving a problem. It is identifying what their strategic planning looks like. It is figuring out how to better engage the user experience or the customer experience. It is helping them develop a new product or a service. And we do this all through research, and through whether it's opinion-based research, secondary research, data analytics, those sorts of things. So the name Great Blue stems from 2 different places. I'm a cancer survivor, so that kind of plays into our blue side of the name, but the great is really helping folks achieve their greatness, helping our clients achieve their greatness. And that could be in any number of different ways. Everything that we do is a customized approach. Let us know your problem, your issue, your need, the questions that you need answered, and then we go develop a customized research program for that need or that issue. To give a couple of examples, in Puerto Rico, for example, Linda, our firm for many, many years worked with the statehood versus Commonwealth issue, and we did a lot of surveying both on the islands here as well as in the States, understanding where folks fell on that topic, that issue. We have, with our partner networks all over the country and all over the world, we can do our process in any language. We utilize partner networks in doing that, but the process and the methodology and the steps that we take remain the same. So we've been doing this for many, many years. So again, helping our clients achieve their greatness. And then the blue part is for those of you from Connecticut or familiar with Connecticut, which is most of the folks here in some way, shape, or form. The great blue heron is indigenous to the state of Connecticut, and we only learned this during the rebranding phase of our process. But with my cancer survivor background, I'm an optimistic guy. The glass is always 3/4 full for me and never half empty. And so that's kind of the approach that we bring. So we really believe one of our differentiators is that we're insanely curious. We never stop asking questions. We're quick study experts. What has been great about since I started in this industry in the 90s till today, what we did in 5, 6, 7 weeks for $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 in the 90s, we now do in 5 to 7 days for $10,000. So we're one of the few industries where our costs have really come down thanks to technology over the years, which is great because more and more folks are utilizing data. From a couple of case studies, what I'm really proud of is I think that our business, our model, our service really helps folks navigate difficult times. And I think about some of the moments that I'm most proud of. It was, we were doing work for a bunch of different organizations in New York City at the time 9/11 happened. And so we were instrumental. One, for example, was New York Power Authority. We were instrumental in helping them navigate post 9/11 efforts in dealing with customers and capturing the needs of their customers. One thing from a people side I'm really proud of is that our average call time for those surveys before 9/11 was around 11 minutes. Post 9/11, our average survey time was close to 2 hours. Not because we were asking really long surveys, but because our people were just being human and being kind and having conversations with folks who needed to talk. The same is kind of applied, if you jump ahead many years, the same is really applied lately with COVID. And we're helping our customers in a lot of different fields navigate COVID-19. As recently as the governor's office reaching out to us based on the Sacred Heart University poll that we did on COVID-related topics. I'm doing a webinar tomorrow afternoon with utilities all over the country about how COVID is impacting utilities here in the state. So I'm probably closing in on the 6 minutes, but I think, as a general rule, we help folks identify and find solutions to their problems. It can be from the business B2B side. It can be B2C. It can be experience and engagement. It can be journey mapping and those sorts of things. So everything that we do is customized based on the need. We've been doing it for a long time. We're really proud to be a part of this group. We met Bill probably right around the time I took over the business, and between he and Kelly and others on their team, they've been instrumental in us helping build our business over the last 11 years, which sounds crazy when you think about it. Bill, is about 11 years ago, we were meeting up in Clinton, and you were speaking at one of our first company retreats. So it's been a good ride, and really excited to get to know all of you, and hopefully that gave a good little intro about what we do and who we are.
Perfect. No, that was awesome. Thanks, Michael. Well, good stuff. And certainly, and the one thing I should have said off the top too, and obviously we've been pretty interactive, but I certainly encourage anyone to communicate directly with anyone on using the chat feature as well. And that actually, we've seen in the other meetups that can be a pretty good tool. If there's someone that says something, you go, oh, we should talk offline. Please use that resource to connect with folks, either completely or individually. Yes.
I did forget one thing, the indulgence.
Yeah, please.
So I'm not giving anything up. Actually, I did start a kind of weight management program. I have lost 15 pounds since COVID started, which I'm really excited about. But I have done it still eating ice cream, still drinking wine. And so it's been kind of a new routine, which I'm really excited about. It's something that I've been wanting to do for many, many years, and I've not been on the road. So I've really taken advantage of that. And I was joking with my wife yesterday saying that I'm going to the liquor store to pick up wine to get us through the next 3 weeks. And that was the second time this week we did it. So, But doing things in moderation, but have really changed some eating habits and behaviors, and really excited and feel like $1 million. So I'm hoping that I can
Good
keep
for
it
you.
going for years to come.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations. You're indulgent on the indulgence. Brilliant. Well, Mauricio, do you want to tell us about Hub 55 and what you guys are up to?
Yes, sure.
That'd be
You hear me fine?
Yeah, you're perfect.
Okay, cool. So pretty quick, as Bill said, we built Hub 55 like 6 or 7 years ago when Pamela and I were studying at Yale, and then we found that we could help companies from Brazil to set up in the US in a different manner, not in New York, not in Boston, not in San Francisco, but in a smaller town, which is great because that's exactly the kind of town that fits what Brazilian entrepreneurs, partners, managers usually do. Not here in São Paulo because São Paulo is huge, but for them to feel safe and familiar with a smaller area would make sense. And actually, that's exactly what happened. We started bringing companies with the help of the Connecticut state government, the New Haven associations that we met along this journey, and several people like Bill and Dana and some other partners that helped us to get these folks familiar with New Haven, Connecticut, and the U.S. In general. So the way we do here in Brazil, we have those big companies that go doing business abroad with the help of our government, federal government, or by themselves because they have a big organization, people, and money to do that. We have also the smaller companies that cannot do this because they are not mature enough to bring their services or products abroad to try to sell because they cannot be competitive. In the middle of those two extremes, we have those medium companies that are not ready to go outside or out of the country doing business because they don't have these big departments to help them or the government to do that. But they are mature, they have a nice technology, they have good products that could sell outside the country. And I think those are the companies that we usually help. The funny thing is that, those are familiar companies, right? And these guys don't know, usually they don't know how to speak English or the culture, the business culture. So we have to take them by the hand and take outside the country and show around and see here, you can sell your product, you can get technology, or you can find funding for business. That's usually the way we do. We don't do missions, as they call, take people outside the country to Connecticut, for instance, for a 1-week shot. That's not how it works. We usually bring them to our office in New Haven for 6 months, which is a long time. It's hard for them. It's sometimes hard for us as well. But during this time, they have enough opportunities to meet people, to visit companies, universities, government, associations. So they start building their own network to start doing business, right? That's exactly how it happens in Brazil, in their home country. But they need time to build that network. And that's exactly where we come to the scene, because we introduce those people to those companies. They start talking by themselves as we take them to the meetings. We help them how to behave, how to exchange cards, how to not be late, which is a bad habit for Brazilians. So always be punctual. You have to be there on time. So they start learning the American culture of doing business, and this is great because it takes time for them. And I would love to say that we do all the strategy stuff and pitch, but for that we count on our partners. Bill has helped us a lot by teaching those guys how to focus, right, Bill? They usually don't know how to focus. They usually don't know how the competition is, so they need to compare themselves. And from that point, like focusing and learning how to behave and learning how to position their products and offerings, they start, doing business. It takes a long time. 6 months is sometimes a short period, is not enough, but usually it's good. And for us, it's always great when they close their first business, because we know that before closing a deal, a long chain of events has to happen, right? So they have to learn everything, how to behave, how to talk, how to present, how to focus. And when they close the business, it means that they has a first win.
Hey,
This is,
Mauricio, a question.
Mhm.
So are there, and there'll be a couple of questions because a couple have come in on text, but are there particular resources that would be helpful for you to add to your base of resources for the companies? Are there particular skills or services you're looking for that would be
Sure.
helpful for?
Yeah, based on what I just said, Bill, these managers or partners have specific and very basic needs. So like visa, like accounting stuff, like registration for their companies, those are all basic stuff they need. They could find somewhere else, but when they are with us, we go after the partner. So the meetup is great because we get to meet people that might become our partners, just like you and Dana are already. Beyond that, we need people in marketing. We usually don't do the full marketing stuff for them. We just help them and introduce them to different people that can help. Sometimes sales guys, they hire salespeople, or they hire companies to help them to doing sales. So all kinds of partners would be welcome in different situations, of course. First month of the 6 months, they need something. At the end of the period, they need more, complex stuff. So partners are always welcome in this process. Okay?
So one more question in 30 seconds. Linda asks, and so I'm going to kind of ask three different things. So would you say that Hub 55 operates more as an accelerator, or are you more focused on business development? Or are you sort of more focused on sort of localizing the companies?
In 30 seconds.
Yeah,
Usually, okay. These guys look for basically four stuff, okay?
Yeah.
Market, they want to do business. Technology, sometimes they want to improve their products. Funding, sometimes they need money to do that. And partners, sometimes they need someone to help them, get to the market because they don't know the specifics. So we would say we are more like a network provider for them, people network provider for them. We of course have the office, we have the team that help them, but I would say the best value is the network. People like you, people like Dana, people like you guys that are attending here. Those are the important resources they need to start doing business.
Sure.
That's basically
and right now,
Anna's
Anna's in New Haven. You have somebody on site currently. So you have somebody there all the time in New Haven.
Yes, we have Anna, as you know, and
Yep.
sometimes more people. Depending on the company that is there, and now we have 3 of them, they need specific people. We can have salespeople, we can have market people, or we can have always Anna helping with all the kinds of resources they need.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much,
that's what we
Mauricio.
do.
That was awesome.
Sure.
And a COVID-19 indulgence.
I and Pamela, my wife, we are used to work from home because we do this in the US and here in Brazil. But we never faced stuff like having kids all around interrupting meetings like this one. So I just lock at the door and close the window because it happens all the time. So we are facing a different situation here. Not as much as an indulgence, but that's the new situation we are facing these days.
Exactly.
It's all remote, so we have to face that, right?
Yeah.
Probably a common problem, issue for everyone here, or those that have kids.
Yeah, we've had a few kids actually give their parents introductions on these calls. So yes, we've seen the shift for sure. Well, thank you, Mauricio. That was awesome. So
you.
I'm going to give just a little bit, just a minute or two on Softland Partners, so there's sort of context for what we're doing, and then we'll have an open time for needs and opportunities. So be thinking of that, and then we'll just have a couple of closing things, and we welcome anyone to stay on the line as long as you want and chat and compare notes or whatever when we kind of wrap up. So to tell you a little bit about Softland Partners, and I know a few people came in late, so I'm gonna, and I apologize for the people that were here early, but I'll give you a little bit of this will be a repeat. So what we found in our business, which, as Kelly mentioned, is about helping international companies enter the U.S. and exhibit and leverage events. What we found is that most of our clients currently and over time have been damaged children. And what I mean by that, they've come to us after having miserable failures at market entry. And in some cases, that means they've made bad decisions. In other cases, it means that they got somehow connected to bad actors who took advantage of them. But in whatever case, it was a challenging process. And so we have a very singular mission at Softland Partners, and that is to put the market entry company first, and to develop all of our programs and systems and ethos around the success of the market entry company. So whether you're a service provider or a partner, being a trade, an investment, or trade or investment organization, that is our ethos, and people who are sort of coming into this ecosystem. It's, really we think about three things. We think about competence, we think about professionalism, and we think about ethics. And those three things sort of drive our service to these market entry companies. And so our platform has two elements to it today. One is an online marketplace where market entry companies can find service providers who serve their needs, and we are global. We have literally people on the platform from Russia, from India, from Brazil, from UK, and so on, and certainly plenty in the US as well. We're very young. We're 4 to 5 months old, so this is we're very much in beta. I would say we're just coming out of soft launch right now. So there's sort of a lot of work still left to do, and a lot of feedback we need from you all. The other element of what we're doing, and you're experiencing it right now, are these meetups. And so we have meetups going on in 9 geographies right now. So New York, Boston, Connecticut. Connecticut we treat not as a city, as a state. It's our one anomaly. San Francisco's coming online. We just had LA had their first meetup yesterday. Then there's 5 in the US, and then London, Amsterdam, Mumbai, and Sao Paulo will come online before the end of May. And so we've got sort of a lot of this going on. And the meetups are monthly, is sort of our cadence, and will be virtual until we can be in person, which obviously we're going to prefer being in person as much as possible. And we need to get one going in Puerto Rico. We need to get one going in Denver, or in. Blair? Are you guys in Denver? Or are you guys in Boulder? What city are you in?
Yeah, we're in Denver.
In Denver. So we need one in Denver. You sound like you're from Australia, though. You're not originally from Denver. Where are you from?
Really, really close there, Phil.
New Zealand?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, cool. Sorry, I know that's very different, so I apologize for missing. Yeah. Now I'm in the doghouse. Sorry. In any event, other things on our roadmap, just so you have a sense of where we're going. So we have the online marketplace, and then these meetups, and the goal is really to sort of elevate the experience that market entry companies have and increase their probability of success, which currently isn't very good, actually. The Australian government actually just put out some statistics that only 3 in every 7 succeeds at 3 in every 10, 30% succeed at market entry. And so we certainly want to change that statistic.
That's our results as well.
What's that?
Bill. That's exactly what our results look
What
like.
you're seeing as
like
well.
30%, yeah.
Yeah, which clearly we can do better. So, but it takes the whole community. It's not going to be one player. And so the other things that are on our roadmap to begin adding. So by the end of the summer, we're aiming to add a speakers bureau. So whether you're a trade organization that has delegations, or you're running a conference around market entry and internationalization, we certainly will have a platform that can provide great speakers. Many on the call here will do that. I'm seeing Dana's CEO on the call. Fantastic. You have a promotion there, Dana?
This is my indulgence right here.
And
He
what is
comes
her?
in and introduces me to most of my calls.
Very cool.
All right.
Awesome. So that gives you a little bit of a sense of what we're doing. And there are a couple of ways to get involved. Certainly the trade and investment organizations come on board as partners, and that's free. And all we ask for is your logo to put on our site. Obviously that helps us both build the bridges that we need to continue to expand. And then the service providers, it's $100 a year. It's pretty simple. That gets you not only on the site, but it also gets you free access to the meetups, which there'll be a charge for as we go in person for guests. And you can come once to these as a guest. And then the third thing is we have a private Slack channel that all of the service providers and partners are on, and so any needs and opportunities can be shared real time, and connections made really quickly, and that happens fairly regularly. So we're seeing good traction with all that. So those are kind of the elements. Real simple. We'll do a follow-up email that'll get you kind of all the particulars, but certainly let us know any questions. And as I said, we're moving really quickly. We're probably adding a new meetup city every 2 weeks right now. So but we're probably going to have about 20 cities by the end of the year, and we're kind of looking to have about 500 service providers on the platform, again, kind of all around the globe. So
hey, Bill,
yes.
Could you talk for a second? So as I think about, and I listened to Mauricio saying, hey, we walk these businesses around and help introduce them. I'm saying, geez, we're only a 20-minute drive away. Let us give you our network and that sort of thing. What's kind of the plan and the philosophy for getting all of these different things? So, I would be interested, I'm kind of all over the place here a little bit, but I'd be interested in seeing what businesses starting in the States, what their success rate is. Is it 50%, 60%, 70%? So that we understand what that gap looks like, right? So I would have to guess, let's just say for argument's sake, it's 50% succeed. So we have a gap of 20% from others coming from outside the States here to the States. How can we best support that 20% and getting that number up? And then I start to think about all these different cities coming online. What is our path for, so Mauricio and I can drive from Glastonbury to New Haven and introduce people and support each other, locally in person. But how do we do that nationally and throughout the whole entire network worldwide? Kind of what's the thought as this grows of how to take these folks and handhold sounds like I'm putting them down. I don't mean it as a criticism, but how do we handhold folks through our network and raise up that percentage from 30% above?
Sure. Yeah. So that's a great question. So right now, the marketplace, and we call it a market entry marketplace on the website, which is where your profile is and all the other service providers, that is free access for market entry companies and trade organizations who are looking for service providers. So that's one method, is that self-service. Second is, on the website, there is also a concierge service. So if someone comes and says, I need help, I need an immigration attorney, I need some help in figuring out a marketing plan and maybe a market research company or whatever it might be, or I need help in creating staff in a new location, and we would essentially help direct them through that process and introduce them to key people. The third is, and this is really why we're doing the meetups. I think there's The online part is all interesting and great. And I think what we've seen, and we've talked to people who have built online sort of marketplaces, and they really struggle to get use. That's really the challenge of it all. And I think our relationships with the partners and the trade organizations will help that quite a bit, because they'll, it obviously creates some efficiency. Quite often they can't or are limited in terms of giving referrals. And so handing people, their clients off to our platform gives them some insulation. So that's a positive. But these meetups actually are probably going to be our biggest driver, both in terms of the interpersonal connections that can be made as you get familiarity with Blair or Dana or Linda or whatever, and being able to, make those connections as we're essentially trying to help each of our clients. And then I think that success, and if you think of that sort of, what did Tip O'Neill say, 50 years ago, all networking is local. And so if we're strong locally, I think then the marketplace is a bridge to new communities and gives us new access, as opposed to being the panacea or the cure-all to this. I'm not sure there's a magic wand. I think it's like most marketing or most good systems, it's an integration of tools rather than a tool or a resource. So I think that's kind of why we built both, is to have the depth locally, if you will, and then a strong system to create bridges. And certainly the Slack channel, is another resource really for instant connection. And we've already seen where, and in fact, the Angie, the gal that runs the New York chapter, the LA chapter last night, was talking about when she and I met about 4 months ago. She told me about a need that one of her clients was trying to bring a business that builds or creates rugs in Morocco to the US, and they needed some specific manufacturing help, sort of aftermarket help in the US. And she had asked me about that. I put it on the Slack channel like 4 months ago, and there was, maybe 12 people out on it. And there was somebody who had connections that helped solve the problem. So, and so obviously with every person, our ability to make connections goes up exponentially, because it's not just the person, it's their phone book that comes to play, or their contact, their CRM. And so, I think it's an incremental process, but ultimately it's, looking at these multiple tools, I think will be much stronger. But yeah, I mean, it's really hard. I think marketplaces are cool and everybody loves seeing their profile, but if we're only that, I think we're going to be really limited in the exchange that happens. It's, we need to be 3 dimensions, not 2, if that makes sense. I don't know if that helped.
Totally. That totally answers the question. Thanks, Bill.
Cool. My pleasure. Absolutely. So let's hop in, and I want to give some time to needs and opportunities. And I'm shutting up. I'm going to put my mic on mute. And if you have a need or an opportunity and would like to share it, and this is not another self-introduction, so please separate it from that. This is a distinct, do you have a client or yourself? Do you have a need, or is there some opportunity that you want to share with the group? So I'm going on mute. The floor is yours.
Mauricio, head up.
Yeah, very, very quickly. We do our programs, the 6 months program, starting February and September. So twice a year, we bring companies to New Haven. This current edition that started in February, we have, of course, we have to live because of the whole situation we are living now. But we still have 3 companies in New Haven and in Connecticut in general. So we are trying to help them from here, from São Paulo. And of course, instructing Anna and our team, local team in New Haven. But we might need people like you guys to do additional stuff if they need. So I know Bill is gonna send us an email with, each of you guys' expertise. So we can probably tap on that to get them, going after you for something they might need at this point, since we are not there. So it's good to know that we have this network here. Thank you, Bill, for that, because they might need some help and we are not there. So they probably could, go after these guys. So this is not a need at this point, but it might become in the following weeks, I guess. Okay. So,
Yeah, please don't hesitate to reach out to Brady and I. We'll do what we can to assist. We're right in state and have a pretty strong network. So even if we don't provide the service or the need, we likely know somebody who does, because we do work for a lot of different industries. So don't hesitate to reach out to us. We'd be happy to help where we can.
thank you. That's great. And beyond that, of course, September hopefully we start a new program, and then we have the opportunity to meet in person and probably bring you guys to the people and companies that we introduce to our Brazilian companies when we go to New Haven. September it's coming. Okay.
Great.
Mauricio, just a quick note, you might want to think through, we here in Puerto Rico, one of the main accelerator programs is doing what they call I-Core, which is Lean Startup Methodology, and they're doing it all virtual. So you might want to plan some things virtually just in case.
No, I think you're right to the point, because, considering we're starting a program in September, and these guys cannot go at this point to the US, we are doing some remote stuff, exactly as you said.
Yeah.
And we might, count on you to help us to be part of that. Actually,
Absolutely.
we are doing what we call pre-program, because we start in September. But for now, they are doing some stuff, talking to people in the US through webinars like we are doing here. And when they go in September, they know already the people. We accelerates the process. So that might be actually a very, very good idea, Linda.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that.
Okay.
Mauricio, I want to add to both of your, yes, I would like to add to that the fact that visa laws are so uncertain right now that it's not for sure that the ones you have now, the company batch that you have now, will be able to depart the United States. One, in which case they will need the renewal of their visa on US territory. And two, it's not for sure that the new batch will be able to obtain visas or otherwise be allowed on flights to the United States. The immigration laws just in the past month are going berserk. So that's I would rank that as their number one concern right now, the functioning or the bad functioning of the immigration system, which makes it uncertain of who can be here for how long and who could come. So good luck with that. I'm available to help them out if they need to extend their visa or they have a medical situation. I'll give you an example of what I've done lately. Medicine. People come here, they get stuck, they run out of medicine from Brazil or Romania, and they need local medicine, some equivalent local medicine. That's not as easy as it sounds. There's all sorts of problems.
No, I agree with you, Dana. And we've been talking to these guys. Some of them are really weird, weirdly worried about that, because time is passing and they have to deal with that pretty soon. So I'll make sure I'll be in touch with you to help them as well, or help us. Thank you.
I actually wanted to throw something out there. In a way, it's a need, but it's also an opportunity. Most of the companies right now, at least the companies that I know, are just trying not to hit the panic mode, trying to figure out their 30, 60, 90 day or apply for some of the loans. And last year, for numerous reasons, I decided to start learning and doing some bookkeeping. And so I'm doing it like a dirt cheap price. So if you or any of your clients need to understand their financial statements, I'm happy to review it for them, or they need to structure their books or financial statements to apply for some of the loans. I mean, I think at least here, particularly in Puerto Rico, what I'm seeing with a lot of the startups and a lot of the small companies, not so much mid, but small companies, is that they're still struggling with this, or they have their paperwork done, but they don't know how to read the statements. And the accountants aren't available to talk them through it. So I'm sort of putting this out there. If you need any help, please call me. Or if you
Okay.
know who needs help, meaning the team, anybody on this call, call me too. I mean, it's my pleasure, really.
Okay, thank you. Very good offer.
Yeah.
I'll make a note
Yeah.
on that. Thank you,
Yeah.
Linda.
Yeah, I think it's something that all the businesses need right now. And I'm curating things that people need, but that I think is the biggest one, the bookkeeping and getting ready and reading your statements so you figure out what the heck you're gonna do. Yeah.
So are there other needs and opportunities that anyone has before, I just don't want to run out of time here and leave any on the bench. So are any other
Bill,
needs?
Bill,
Yeah.
this is Jeff Ardis with IBT Online. I'll just offer this, and we just had a nice guidance from Bill that this should be more than a marketplace, that there's more value to the group, and I fully agree with that. But to the extent that a marketplace is also valuable, I would encourage anyone to send me, we'll probably all connect anyway on LinkedIn or the Slack channel or wherever it is. I would encourage any of you that would like to send me a note, introduce yourself, a little marketing blurb, maybe a website link. I find in working with clients that I often encounter companies who've come to us for a specific piece of their business, but there's another piece that they're missing. So there was a new to export market entry consultant who's a friend of mine who is not on the call today, but is based in Connecticut, who I hadn't seen in a while. And I saw her on one of last week's calls. And it just so happens that in the last 24 hours, I've actually sent 2 clients to her, people that I've spoken to who said, I need help with pricing or logistics or market selection, and whatever market I choose, I'll get you to do my website, but I don't know where I'm going, right? So there's value in that, and I'm happy to, send out 2 or 3 consultants at the same time for everyone to vet, but keep in mind the value of the referrals, even though we're here for more. So just a thought on that.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to point out, of course, what everybody's talking about these days, how everybody's trying to switch away from China and find new markets out there to invest in. I just recently presented on investing in Romania, and I'm sure Mauricio can do an equally powerful presentation on why invest in Brazil, etc. So this is a valuable time when we could point out alternative markets to our clients. So that's another way in which there's a need. Hey, where am I going to invest? Where am I going to manufacture next? And we have the solutions. Well, a partial solution. The other part is for Kelly Kenny. I heard that you do trade show representations, and I was going to ask you if you do it in the furniture companies, in the furniture industry at all.
I'm not sure what you're asking, so maybe we can chat offline, but
Yes.
Yep, I'm happy to answer any questions you have. I'm just not sure what you're trying to get at with the furniture industry.
So do you go to fairs on behalf of clients in a specific industry?
Yes, and I mean, we typically focus on IT, healthcare, energy, but we've worked with some, depending on what their needs are and who we have established with. And so if they are a business-to-business client, those are certainly trade shows that we have addressed and can look at.
Right. So that's what I'm looking into. A bunch of foreign companies, say from Romania, would like to participate and get access to the US market, but they discover that it's very expensive to fly someone all the way from Romania here and get them to a trade show. So could they have someone professional who goes out there, charms the heck out of their networking contacts, and gets contracts for them?
Farming,
Right?
there you go.
Yeah.
Dana, that's exactly what we do. We'll follow up offline, but yeah, that's exactly what we do. So perfect.
Yeah.
No, great stuff. Cool. Well, good. Other needs and opportunities?
I would just say, Bill, I know we've all kind of talked about linking up and stuff after. Is there some sort of contact list? Because I know as soon as I hang up, I'll come up with 10 ideas. And we'll want to definitely follow up with folks.
Well, especially after the third beer, you want to remember what happened.
Shots along the way, so when I get through a bottle later, I will be, what are we talking about?
There you go. It is happy hour somewhere. Yes. Yeah, because we're somewhat evil, we publish the attendee list with emails, but we put it on the Slack channel, which is our little bit of bait, not only to get our group actually using Slack, but also obviously we want to create some value as well. But so in any event, that's kind of our mode. Again, we're evil. Sorry, it's the way we roll. But as you know, and Slack is not something that every one of us uses, and we may not actually stick with that platform. It really depends on our adoption, but we need something where we can easily communicate without looking at more emails, because that's brutal for all of us. So why don't we do this? There's some really great needs and opportunities, and what I do after this is I actually share, if there are really specific needs that people have, I'll share those on Slack as well, whether you're in the group or not, and we'll see what we can find for you. And then the other, it's sort of in closing, I'd suggest a couple of things. So Jeff, I thought that was a really good point about the sort of always having knowledge of what other people do, because it's amazing how quickly, when you know what other people do and what they're good at, how quickly actually opportunity crosses your bow. And you've seen it all. It's crossed your bow all the time. You just didn't know there was someone that did that. And when you sort of create that awareness, the matches are incredible. And so that's exactly what this is about. That's really the point that we're making. And maybe use the metaphor that that what we're creating for each of us ultimately is a better bullpen. And when I talk to people that provide services pretty much in any industry, the number one place that I hear referrals come from are current and existing clients, our current and past clients. And like 95% of people, when I ask, will say, that's where their best referrals come from. So let's assume that's the case. Then the better we serve our current clients and past clients, and the better our bullpen is, the more they're going to think of us. The more we have solutions, be it ones that we serve or ones that we connect them to, the better they're going to think of us. So that just means that they're going to refer us more often. And even more than that, if our clients are successful, if they organically grow through our help, that's also going to be good for all of us. So that's really the nut of this. And so what I would suggest as an action from this meeting is, between now and our next meeting, which is Thursday, May 28th, same time, we'll assume at this point it's going to be virtual. And if for some crazy turn of events we can actually meet in person, we will, but let's assume it's going to be virtual. Between now and that meeting, my number one recommendation is pick 1 to 3 people from this meetup, and you can look at the greater list that we forwarded out yesterday. Pick at least one, and then as many as you can to meet up with in person, virtually, and get to know a little better. That our success is not going to be from having superficial relationships with everybody. It's going to be about having more intimate relationships with a few, and it's really the overlap of those relationships that causes networking to succeed. Certainly, we'll send out some follow-up information that will give you all you need to be able to get involved and get into the Slack channel. So please do that, and we want to welcome you into the next meeting. So that would be good. And the third and last thing is, bring friends. We can spend a lot of time, we do, and some of you came to us because of the marketing we're doing, but the best growth we will have will be each of us bringing 1 or 2 friends to each meetup. That will certainly assure higher quality. It will assure better balance in terms of what we're doing. We'll continue to go with the various outreach efforts that we have, and which are certainly doing well, but please bring your friends. It will help us in so many different ways. So with that, I'm going to shut up again. Anybody is welcome to share additional comments or thoughts. Blair has brought in his CEO. So do you want to introduce your CEO there, Blair?
Walker, come here. Do you want to say hi?
And that's who I was officially making faces at, not you, Bill.
I was not going to take it personally. That's okay, Mike.
I think he has half a stick of chalk in his mouth, but
That's awesome.
it's okay. Yeah.
How are you, Walker?
Say hi, bud.
Got my hair.
Well, at least it's not my hair. Could be worse. Anything else anyone wants to talk about, please. This is open, whatever you want. And certainly if you got to go, we totally understand. And we'll catch you, I'm sure, real soon.
Yeah, really quickly, Bill, I can just talk about some of the opportunities that we see, and specifically I'm on the partnerships team. We get requests from clients. So we're focused on working with high growth technology and life sciences groups generally. Well, those are our representative verticals, and we get requests for anything from digital marketing services, which I'd actually just messaged Jeff on, to things like tax liability for international contractors and that sort of thing. And so there's a lot in between. There's immigration services, which we used to handle in-house, and sometimes, depending on the client, we'll take on, but we would prefer to refer those out. And so there's a lot of, there are a lot of service requests that come in on sort of an ad hoc basis that my team's responsibility is to farm out. So consulting work, as an example, we were working with a prospect who was interested in what the UAE looked like. Oman and Qatar, I think, were their markets of interest. They wanted a market study done. And so we shipped that off. I'm not sure what partner, but that's another good example of just some of the miscellaneous types of requests we get.
So, yeah, and just so you know, Blair, actually one of the things that's going to go on the Slack channel today is we have one of our members is looking for a tax advisory service in Canada, Australia, UK, and Mexico. So just in line with what you were talking about. So yeah, absolutely. Those are all connections that, that whether they're direct or indirect, the network certainly has.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool. Other comments? Again, this is your time, guys.
I'm good. I actually have to jump off and get home and relieve my wife, but it's been a pleasure speaking with all of you today, and we'll definitely be in touch and follow up. Like I'm pretty sure with all of you. Cool. Not you, Bill.
Oh, well, I hear you. I wouldn't either.
Thanks, everyone. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, Michael.
Yeah, good to meet everybody.
Thanks, Brady. Anything else anyone had?
I have to leave as well, Bill. I'm sorry. I have another meeting, as you know. So guys, thank you so much. It was a great meeting. I guess we're going to be successful with that. Thank you so much. Have
Thanks,
a good day.
Good to see you.
Bye.
Say hi to Pamela.
Thank you.
Well, I'm going to jet as well.
All right.
Get the rest of this crayon out of this kid's mouth.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Blair. Nice to meet you.
Bye.
All right. Bye now. Cheers. And then there were three.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like kind of, oh my God, I need to get out of the house and I don't know when, but.
Well, we're getting you virtually out of the house.
Yes, I'm super excited. I got to tell you, Bill, I get the shaking hands. I'm totally old school when it comes to that, but I do hope and pray that you still once in a while throw in a virtual thing just because.
Well, so our structure is, even when we go to in-person meetups, our structure, we actually have a global meetup for members only that happens once a month. So that's, it's geography agnostic. And so we have everybody from everywhere. I mean, our last call, we had people on from Russia, India, UK,
nice,
and then plenty of US and Brazil. So.
Yeah, I know I need to still join and send you all that. I just wanted to close it. I know it's $100, not a lot. I get it, but I need to fill the pipeline. The pipeline funnel management is top mind now. So
I'm filling out the provider application at the moment. I assume at some point it's going to ask me for a card number. I haven't gotten there yet.
It doesn't. We're not that sophisticated. We send you an email afterwards with,
okay.
And it gives you an option to pay by Stripe or.
Linda, how are things in Puerto Rico? I was there a couple of years ago with my wife for one of her friends' weddings, and just thought it was terrible what happened with the storm. I actually come from a well back in a previous life, a sports management background, and I have a friend who was the general manager of the Division II soccer club there, Puerto Rico.
Oh wow.
FC. That of course now can't. I think the stadium is still damaged. They can't play. He's left Puerto Rico and taken another job. But how are things built back? And is it just in San Juan? What about the rest of the island?
Well, we started the year with earthquakes.
Yeah, terrific.
COVID is nothing.
Next week is locusts.
Exactly. I'm like, what the heck? I need to get the hell out of here. No. Look, I don't think that people were quite there yet from Maria. So things were not 100% post Maria before the earthquakes, right?
Yeah.
I think that the major industries and major economic drivers were just starting. But I think that there's still pockets, especially in the inner parts of the island, that are still devastated from Maria. So forget about the earthquakes and all that. So I think the island is, I guess, how can I put it visually? It has a lot of Band-Aids in San Juan, so it's working. And there are parts of the island that are in stilts, right? So in thin stilts. So we don't know what will happen. I think that honestly, this is a resilient town, seriously resilient. Yeah. It's amazing to me. People don't quit. And I think that part of it is, people don't get paid a lot here. And so no matter what, you need 2 or 3 jobs. You need that side hustle. So that hasn't stopped. I think this will be really hard though. Most of the economy is micro companies, and I'm not really sure how people are really going to fare.
Is there any hope for major infrastructure overall? What we hear is the entire electric grid needs to be rebuilt. I don't know where the money's coming from that. It's not coming from our president who's tossing paper towels around, but it's not going to come from federal government. I think, interestingly enough, yesterday I had a conversation with someone from Invest Puerto Rico, which is the economic development arm, pulling people here, and specific on the grid. He was telling me that they are trying to attract renewable energy companies to come here and just partner and take over and get people, particularly manufacturing, off the grid, because the kilowatt, it's just too expensive and it's non-reliable. You know what? I got your email address in the message chat, so I'll do that. I'm going to send you a link for a company in Vermont that might be interesting to this guy. If you want to pass it along, they may be on his radar screen anyway. But they're called Northern Reliability, and their focus is grid electricity, off-grid, Siberia, Caribbean islands, things like that. And they're not that big. They're kind of getting some momentum, and we're talking about doing some Spanish language and maybe Russian website work for them. But if he's interested in that, they might have called him, but that's the kind of company that would probably be very good in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I'm happy to connect you guys to other Caribbean islands, which are, even worse off at this point.
We do a lot of webinars. We typically have done them twice a month. Now we're doing them once a week or more
Wow.
with this environment. And our focus is on U.S. companies marketing in other markets where they need foreign language support. But we do have some clients in other countries. And for some reason, we've had a flurry of T&T people on our webinars recently at,
Interesting.
TTI or whatever the trade and investment group in T&T is. Half a dozen of them are on these webinars.
Yeah, they need a lot.
Yeah.
They need a lot of help. And this is what's really interesting. I mean, I think that all these little islands, they're all encountering the same problem. Like
Sure,
the
of
same
course.
problem in Puerto Rico. It's okay. Our own backyard is devastated. How am I going to get how am I going to sell this stuff outside?
Right.
And how do I commercialize the little resources that I have available?
Right.
But yeah, listen, there's even in LATAM, I mean, especially in LATAM, there's a lot of opportunity. I've worked in Latin America for a long time. Big opportunities there on both, I help companies on both ends, from US overseas and from overseas into US. And there's a lot of interest on both sides. I think LATAM gets a bad rap, but it's a tough market, so
Sure.
I get it, right?
I can see Bill thinking, just email people. I need to go eat dinner.
Yeah, no worries.
No, actually, I have a call with Australia in 12 minutes. Something
All
like
right.
All right, we'll
Very
talk
good. But
offline.
let's connect. I've had 3 openings of my office door in the last half hour, seeking my takeout order for whichever local business it is we're supporting this week. So
Awesome. Good on you.
All
right. I'll talk to you.
all
All
right.
right. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Have a good rest of your day.
Bill,
You
hang on a
too.
second.
Yeah.